It's Training Tuesday. Welcome back to another Tuesday, another training, and tonight's topic is all about confidence. How's your confidence going, ladies? How are you feeling? I've been battling a cold and a sore throat and all that good stuff for what? How long now? How, how long have you guys heard me kind of croaking on this call? It's just how it is. Um, But sometimes, right, the inability to speak up and have that energy and to feel like you're presenting yourself in the best possible way can intrude on your level of confidence. I'm not going to lie. At this stage, I feel like I'm just getting used to it. Just getting used to living with the scratchy throat and the constant kind of stuffiness in the head. I don't know what it is. It's been going on for months, and I feel like we've just been passing it back and forth around our house. And last week in particular, I don't know how it was for you guys. Last week was a hell of a week. It was just packed, busy, nonstop from early in the morning until later in the evening. And I felt like I didn't come up for air until like Saturday. And hey, Joyce, good to see you. And Saturday, I had all these plans for how I was going to get caught up on all the stuff that I didn't get a chance to do because I was so busy working through the week. And I had literally was meetings. I was in endless meetings all week last week. And so I had all these plans over the weekend to sit down, buckle down, get it all done. And I literally spent, I think, about 4 hours sitting in a chair on Saturday, doing nothing. Literally doing nothing. I just couldn't find the energy and bring myself to do it. And then, of course, I had to go through the mental gymnastics of you need this rest, you need this break, don't beat yourself up, right? All that good stuff. So, hey, Sue, it's good to see you. I'm glad to see you guys tonight. So, thinking about confidence, right? We're going to talk about 7 simple tools to not boost your confidence. That's the one thing. It's not about a quick fix, although they do work for a quick fix in a little confidence boost and mustering up that extra bit of energy and courage before you walk into a room or pick up the phone or something. But really, the tools I'm talking about are tools you can use and integrate every day to ensure that your base of confidence is consistent, that you're feeling it and you're living it and you're sitting in it. And so that's really where I want to go tonight. But any one of these tools can be used for that quick fix or that quick boost. So keep that in mind as well. Because what had me get on the theme of confidence was this idea of, end of year and the holidays, and what do we all talk about? New Year's resolutions, right? We talk about the promises we're going to make about how next year is going to be even better. And you're absolutely right, Joyce. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. I was empty. like I sat in that chair. I was listening to an audiobook. I didn't even have the energy to do the Facebook scroll. I just sat there listening to my book. It was a very light-hearted, candy crunchy mystery because I'm a big fan of British murder mysteries, so that's what I was listening to. Yeah, and I didn't have the energy for anything else, Joyce. And that's just what I had to realize was that if I came to my desk and I started cramming out work, it was not going to be my best work. And most likely I'd end up having to redo it because I was just so drained. So yeah, I drank tea and I sat in my chair and I listened to a British murder mystery on Saturday. So I spent my day. I hope you guys spent time taking off as well and just enjoying being. Felt pretty good. And I ended up having more energy Sunday to tackle the things that I wanted to tackle. That is a different topic though. So I was thinking about New Year's resolutions, which got me on this whole idea of confidence and where our confidence comes from. And I know last year at this time, I put a list of resolutions in front of you guys. And so I went back and looked it up to see, so how'd I do? Do you guys ever do that? Do you ever go back and look at your New Year's resolutions to see how you did? And maybe if you start the year with just 1 or 2 or 3 resolutions, you remember them. I had a list. So I'm going to share my list with you, and I'm going to share with you kind of where I was, because this is all related to the confidence boost thing, okay? So the list I gave you was I want to lose weight. I want to be physically stronger and fit. I want to write more. I want to have more consistency in my meditation practice. and my yoga practice. I want to finish my sound healing certification. I want to buy a new house, and I want to be more authentically me. Just show up more as me. So that's what I stopped counting after 5. I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. I had 7. So here's, looking back a year later, here's where I ended up. I want to lose more weight. I did not. I want to be physically fit, physically stronger and fit. I am not. I want to write more. I did. I want to have more consistency in my yoga and meditation practice. 50-50. Been very consistent with meditation, not so consistent with yoga. I want to finish my sound healing certification. Nope. Want to buy a house. Yes. I want to be more authentically me. Yes. I think that one I feel pretty good about. The ones that I accomplished, I feel really good about. I have been writing more this year. I'm happy with what I'm writing. I've definitely been more consistent in my meditation. I have my new house, which you can still see is a work in progress, and I'm okay with that. And that's part of authentically me. Guess what? I'm not a neat freak, as you can tell. Right? So, but when you look back on these resolutions, like, there's a big opportunity here to do what? I didn't lose the weight. Did not exercise more. I didn't do anything about my sound healing certification. I still have my crystal bowls. They're still in a very pretty carrying case that I have with a quilt that my mother made that I can place them on when I practice, which I don't. And I haven't been consistent in yoga. Like, I could spend a lot of time sitting in my comfy chair beating myself up for not doing my whole list, just getting part of my list done. And what does that do? That erodes at my self-confidence, because that erodes at me celebrating what I did accomplish, what I did do, what clearly became the more important priorities for me out of those 7, because those are the ones that I focused on. Joyce, I love you in the statistics. Hey, Jackie, that's I don't know anything about baseball, but I'm going to say that, is that good? I don't know if that's good. It sounds like it's good. All-star. Awesome. See, I'm doing all right. And to Joyce's point, it's perspective. It's all perspective, right? About whether we were successful or not successful, or and how much energy we spend beating ourselves up for things. And when we do that, we are completely taking away both from the accomplishments that we do have, but also taking away from our sense of confidence that, yeah, I can do things. I can focus. I can put my mind to things. It was no small thing creating a habit where I had consistent meditation and holding myself accountable to that. Because it was a change in my daily routine. I had to make sure this became my daily routine. It was honestly no small thing to buy a house. That took a lot of my energy and focus and my money. It took a lot of all those things. Writing more was another thing. It became part of a practice. I had to work it into other habits and patterns I already had to make sure I could get that done. And being more authentically me is a choice. It's a choice in every single moment to decide, am I going to say the thing, look the way, do the thing that I really want to do? Or am I going to respond to either what I think other people want from me, or how I think I'm supposed to show up? And sometimes who I am and who I want to be aligns with those things, but sometimes it doesn't. So what's the choice I'm going to make? So we're going to talk about confidence tonight and how we nurture our confidence, our inner core of confidence, so that we are not so worried about, am I living up to all my New Year's resolutions? We are more focused on, am I being the most authentic, powerful, truthful, beautiful, sexy version of me that I can possibly be? Weight loss be damned. That's how it is this year. Or that's how it was this year. So, for those of you joining who do not know me, my name is Natalie Hahn. Welcome to our group. You are in the group Accelerating Leadership for Professional Women. I am your CEO and coach of Dirty Girls Consulting and of this group. And very happy to have you here. As always, and as you ladies already have, saying hello in the chat, I appreciate that. Say hi. If you're new, say hi to the group. We're happy to have you here. I love this to be as interactive as possible. So if you have questions, you have comments, you have stories you want to share, share them. I try to follow the comments as much as possible. Sometimes if they start going fast, I don't see everything. But that's okay, because you're there to share not just with me, but with this entire community of amazing women. And that's what I want you to do. So, New Year's resolutions, what are we doing? We're setting up goals, right? We're setting up goals. And goals are good things. And having that list of goals is a good thing, because we can use it to keep us accountable, right? We can use that list of goals to keep us accountable and to give us clarity around what we're chasing. It can help crystallize for us what's really important or what we're really going after. But having the list doesn't arm you, doesn't necessarily give you the energy and the motivation and the focus to actually accomplish the list, right? Those are two different things. So I know I shared this last year, and I don't think I have the latest statistics, but I know that I'm looking at my notes here to see if I know from last year that studies showed that after 30 days, fewer than 25% of people who made resolutions were still thinking about those resolutions and sticking to them. And by the end of the year, only 4% of people claimed to have achieved their resolutions. So first of all, the odds are not in your favor. And second, I feel pretty good about my 50% achievement of my goals, actually. The challenge is that list can become like an albatross, right? It hangs on our neck and it weighs us down because we use it to guilt ourselves into everything we're doing wrong. And so what I could think about when I think about the fact that I did not make progress on my weight loss goal, and I did not make progress on my getting stronger goal, and I did not make progress on my sound healing goal, I can sit here and tell myself, I'm lazy, I'm weak, I have no willpower, I'm just irresponsible, right? I'm destined to be overweight. It's in my genes. It's probably not, but it's a good excuse we use, right? It's impossible for me to set these physical goals. What was I thinking anyway? I'm just not ready for it, right? I can come up with all the ways to self-flagellate and beat myself up for what I didn't achieve. And it represents guilt, right? It represents disappointment in myself. Like, I'm literally just beating myself up. And when do we do this? We do this at like one of the best times of the year, right? At the time of the year that we are supposed to be ready to go, ready to charge forward, ready to tackle it all. And instead we're sitting there going, oh, I'm such an idiot. You know, why did I say that? Why did I promise that? I'm never going to get that done. And then we talk ourselves down. So tonight's mission is to help you stay focused on that best version of you that you want to be. And only you know who that is, and only you know what that does and what those goals are that align to that. So I'm not so interested in the list of things that you want to achieve. Like, I myself am not looking at that list of, I want to lose 15 pounds. I want to be able to run another half marathon. I want to get my sound healing certificate, right? This year, I'm not putting that list, like, it's not going on my board. It's not going to go on a sticky note on my computer. Instead, I'm focused on, who do I want to be? Who do I want to be as a person, as a leader, as a woman, as a mother, as a parent and a daughter and a friend? Who's that? What does this woman look like? What does she sound like? What does she wear? How does she feel? How does she feel about herself? How does she feel about what's going on in the world? How does she feel about her friends? What are the priorities of that woman who I want to be? How does she spend her time? What does she focus her energy on? What's important to her? Envision that. Envision who she is. Because here's the thing, we're not talking about who you are 15 or 20 years from now, although we could be. We're talking about you tapping into the potential of who you are, of who you know you are, and figuring out, how do I live her life right now? How do I make her choices? How do I see the world through her eyes right now? Because that's who I want to be. You may have a vision of you in this more evolved state. You may have a role model that is a parent or a friend or a mentor or someone else that you're picturing who's in this state that you are striving for. It could be a public figure. It could be a public personality. It can be a musician or a poet or a TV personality. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whoever that role model is, version of yourself or someone else who's representing the values and qualities that you want to exude in your life. That's what I want you to get really clear around, like who that is. How does she make decisions? What are the choices she would make? So get clear on it, write it down, because we do actually crystallize. I'm so happy I got a box of really pretty pencils. You can't really see them that well in this lighting, can you? And they make me happy. I like writing in pencil. I like writing longhand, and I like writing in pencil. And so I got this box of pretty pencils so that I would remember to write in my journal, and I write longhand. Like, see, isn't it pretty? And I write longhand. Who's this woman? How does she think? What does she want out of life? How is she making choices? Knowing who that is, feeling who that is, now I move forward in making choices, sometimes really small choices in how do I live that life? What's the decision she makes? Well, she might make the choice to not eat quite so many carbs. She might, but maybe that choice isn't cutting carbs out altogether, because frankly, I have very little willpower. I really do. And I'm not going to cut carbs out altogether. I like carbs. But I might shake up my breakfast and say, for breakfast, here's the meal I'm going to have. And it's going to be a no carb, low carb kind of meal. And I'm not going to worry about the carbs for the rest of my meals, but I'm going to make this one small change to my daily habit in order to start evolving myself to live the life of that woman who I want to be. Hey, Charlotte, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. So what I'm talking about is how we make the little changes step by step. What I said earlier, right? When I looked at my New Year's resolutions last year, and I looked at the ones I was successful on. So I was successful at incorporating meditation into my practice every day. How? By adding literally 10 minutes to my morning routine, and I fit it in a part of my overall morning routine where I knew I could sit for 10 minutes. It literally went in between after walking the dog, making a cup of coffee, sit for 10 minutes, go to my computer and start working. That's where it fit. And over the course of the year, 10 minutes became 20 minutes, became 30 minutes. Some days it goes right back to 5 or 10 minutes because maybe I woke up later, my time is crunched. Some days I will coffee, meditate, then walk the dog. But in this bucket of my morning routine, I made one small change. And that created a year-long habit. It's the same thing with my writing, right? Squeezing it into a period that I've already got locked down as part of my routine and squeezing that one little change in makes all the difference to creating a new habit. So do this with the vision of, who's this woman I want to be? How does she show up? And start finding those small ways that you show up as her. And part of that showing up as her every day comes from your core of confidence, because you are that woman. Hey, Rose, it's good to see you. Jackie, is it weird your resolution goals are more micro? No, I don't think that's weird at all. Actually, I think that's really, really smart. Because here's the thing, right? You put that big goal ahead of you. I'm going to put the goal ahead of me. I'm going to run a marathon this year. I'm not. But if I were, that goal alone could be super overwhelming, and then I never get started. Because what do I start doing? In the back of my head, I start backpedaling with the, why did I put that out there? I'm never going to do that. It's too far. It's too hot. The weather's not cooperating with my training program. I don't have time to run for 3 hours straight for training anyway, right? We start making the excuses. But if my goal is I need to spend more time running, and I set myself up for, I'm going to run at least one day this week for 20 minutes. Totally doable. And then the first time I do it, crushed it. Crushed it. Which motivates me to do it again. Which motivates me to maybe make it 2 times a week the following week. So the thing is, Jackie, you can keep yearly goals, but you're just reverse engineering them. And you're starting with the micro pieces, your building blocks. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, right? What you're doing is exactly what I'm talking about. We grow our base of confidence when we do the things. When we do the things. One of the ways that we get set up for failure is when we put that giant goal out there and then we step back and go, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, what was I thinking? I didn't mean that. And so what happens? We never get started. We sabotage before we even start because it's just too big. And the truth is, I don't want to give up carbs. Not altogether. But I understand that my body reacts a certain way to carbs, and it's not the way I want my body to react. It's not the way I want to look. It's not that woman who I want to be and who every day I'm looking at and going, what else can I do today to step more into being like her? What can I do every day to step more into being me, my authentic self, right? That was the last one on my list. So, I'm going to talk about 7 quick and easy tools to help you center around that who you want to be and who you are. And if you don't have a super clear vision right now of that role model or that vision of you, the vision of you know can be, and I am not, by the way, I'm not talking about the perfect woman. I am not talking about some idealized version of you that does not belong in reality. Because if I went back and said, I want to get down to my college weight and I want to, I'm going to run an Ironman I'm going to do an Ironman this year and things like that. I am setting unrealistic goals because I'm 52. And so I'm probably never going to be back to the weight I was when I was 22. And I'm actually okay with that. Not that it wouldn't be nice, but maybe I don't want to push myself that hard, right? Maybe that goal isn't as important to me as just being healthy. So I'm not talking about some perfect version of you. I'm talking about the strongest version of you. And strong in the sense of your most confident, powerful, 360-degree view of who you are as a woman. Who's she? Who are you at the core? This gets down to what your values are, what you focus your energy on, what you spend your time doing. That's how you build your life. So if you find yourself a bit of a people pleaser, someone who has problems, who has challenges setting boundaries, if you are seeking approval, right? Approval and permission from other people to do the thing or be the thing, if you find yourself having trouble making decisions, then you are likely in a camp where your core of confidence is dinged. Now in the chakra world, it's your solar plexus. So as a lot of you know, I'm a certified chakra healer, so I do talk a lot about chakras. But that's your solar plexus. That's the energy we hold here. It's the energy we hold there in our solar plexus is where we hold our core of confidence, right? Which makes sense. It's the center of our body. It's how we hold ourselves upright. It's the energy that we're emanating out in the world that says, here I am and here's who I am. So we may have a compromised solar plexus chakra. It's called the Manipura. If we're falling in that camp of people pleasers, seeking permission, not willing to make a decision on our own, hard time setting boundaries. So how do we align this and how do we tap into this every day so that we are building our core of confidence every day so that it's not just a boost, it's permanent change. So one of the ways is what I just talked about, right? Adopting baby habits. What did you call them? Micro goals, right? Jackie called them micro goals. Adopting those micro goals every single day, looking at the one small thing you can do that steps closer into the power of this person who you are. And that's the key. While this is the person you desire to be, it is also the person you already are. You are this woman. You could not envision this woman. You could not have some sense of connection and alignment with this woman if she weren't already there. We're just trying to peel back the layers, right, to expose her more, to get you comfortable exposing her more. So one is those micro habits. Those micro habits are what are going to get you through the hump of not only changing how you show up and how you behave, but to Jackie's point, to conquering those annual resolutions that you have. So there's one. Tool 2, I am a big fan, obviously, of meditation. Whether it's a 30-second, 2-minute meditation, whether it's 20 minutes or 2 hours, whatever you're comfortable with. Here's the thing about meditation. For those of you who shy away from it, I'm guessing that for a lot of us, when we think about meditation, we think, first of all, I have to sit quietly. And second, I have to clear my mind. What do they mean by clear my mind? Right? Because my mind, there's always stuff going on. How do I can't turn this off. I don't stop this. And you're right. You don't shut things off with meditation. In fact, what you do is you let them go. The whole point of meditation is to free your mind so that you're not clinging onto any particular thing. You're letting your brain kind of run through it all and run that energy out so that you can come back to the core of yourself. And that's why in meditation, a lot of the times for beginners, they say focus on your breathing. Just breathe in, just breathe out. And when you find your mind jumping back to that conversation you had with your partner this morning, or to that nasty email you got from your boss, right, the other day, when you find your mind jumping to those bits, you pull it back and say, I'm focusing on the here and now, and I'm focusing on my breath. Meditation is a great way to give yourself mental space, because by focusing on your breath and breathing, by letting those thoughts just kind of run and go, and not holding on to them, but letting them go, right? Letting them run, and then your brain is off to the next thing. You're actually creating space. And in that space, you can realign a little bit more with who you are and what's important to you. I am a huge fan also of mantras. Mantras, I find, are the quickest, easiest way to work, and they can become a form of meditation, by the way. But mantras are the quickest, easiest way for us sometimes to reset our brain. So you find yourself walking into that situation and you're like, I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable in this meeting. I don't want to pick up the phone and have that call. I feel like I'm late on a deadline. Whatever it is that's triggered that moment of insecurity, a mantra can help us tap right back into the core of who we are, where we have power, what's important to us. And your mantra for building your confidence is going to be very personal to you. But examples of mantras can be anything. It can be a couple words, it can be a whole phrase, it can be 2 or 3 sentences. It's whatever works for you. But in that moment where you catch yourself, you can think or say things like, I am confident and powerful. And then you repeat to yourself, I am confident and powerful. I am confident and powerful. I can take this on. I am motivated, ambitious, and capable. And all you're doing, pardon me, with these sentences is reaffirming yourself. You're reaffirming the woman you already know you are, the leader that you already know you are. I have the courage to create positive change. I stand in my personal power. Whatever it is that helps you tap into your core of confidence, that's the phrase you want to use over and over. Now, I also recommend with this, if you can, you have the time and space, using a mudra can help. So mudras are hand positions that we use in meditation, and the different positions of your fingers and your hands and how you hold them helps both generate and hold energy for you, right? It helps your body kind of contain the energy or flow the energy. One of the things I found that works really well, especially if you're in a stress situation, and you're trying to tap into your confidence, is using finger tapping as you repeat your mantra. So your mantra might be, I am confident and authentic. So forefinger to thumb. Then your middle finger to thumb. I am ambitious and capable. I am confident and authentic. I am ambitious and capable. And you just keep repeating, however many sentences it is, whatever grounds you and brings you back, as you tap your fingers through. And this can give you a tactile also sense of being grounded, pulling into yourself, and tapping into your own sense of confidence. Charlotte, exactly. When you use meditation and mantras, it's exactly right. It raises your own self-awareness and shifts your focus from whatever the chaos is that's distracting you and your energy, bringing it back to the power of you and your core. Movement, you all know I'm a huge fan of movement. When we're shifting energy in any way, shape, or form, yoga, dance, walking, any form of physical movement physically moves your energy and can help you pull back again into your sense of confidence. Sometimes our lack of confidence comes from a trigger, comes from a moment, and we just need to shift the energy back to say, okay, I am back to who I am. I am back to where I'm supposed to be. Even if it's a 3-minute walk, like up and down the stairs in your house, you're just trying to shift the energy and get it moving so you can clear your space. If you are a fan, as I am, of some of the other tools we use mostly in chakra healing, then gemstones. Gemstones, for a lot of people, gemstones hold an energy and a power and an aura around them that helps recenter, that helps bring different type of energy into the environment. The gemstones that are associated with your solar plexus chakra, citrine, right? Nice, bright, yellow, shiny. Citrine, manifesting abundance, confidence, mental well-being, creativity. That was the last one. Yellow tourmaline balances your emotions, supports your cyclical health, right? Processes in your body, helps break up negative energy. And tiger's eye. Tiger's eye is good luck protection, right? Break up negative energy, brings in and protects you from bad luck. If you are a fan of essential oils, things like that, cedarwood, bergamot, rosemary, and chamomile, bringing in the smell. I mean, think about your senses, right? The whole point of what we're talking about here is seeing something different, moving, listening, right? Hearing something different, repeating things to yourself. It's about using our senses to manage our energy. So the essential oils, like I said, are cedarwood, bergamot, rosemary, and chamomile. So we've got the micro habits. We've got meditation, mantras, mudras, movement, gemstones, and essential oils. Now I said 7 simple things because they're very simple. You can use them in a 5-second window, or you can take your time and spend 15 minutes, 50 minutes kind of enjoying the energy in the space with any one of these things. And if you make it a regular practice, if you take some of these pieces and incorporate the regular movement of, say, sun salutations. Sun salutations is a great confidence boosting kind of movement with your body. If you work that into an everyday practice, you are building up the core of your confidence. You're building up the core of centering around who you are, what's important to you, who you want to be. And with those micro habits, with those little baby atomic habits, you're already moving into action to show up as the person that you want to be. So the overarching exercise to the seven tools I just gave you is getting the clarity around who you are and who the best version of you is. Who is that woman? What is she about? How does she think? How does she feel? What does she eat? What does she wear? All that good stuff. We can empower ourselves with a really strong sense of our identity and our purpose, our confidence, and our motivation when we're conscious of it, when we're raising our awareness around who we are, what's important to us, and how do we live within our own sense of integrity. So with our chakra, right, with our solar plexus aligned, we have the capability of living as our most true and clear self, which is where we feel the happiest and where we feel in our power. So thank you for joining me tonight for the 7 tools of tapping into your confidence and making it a habit and a daily practice, not just a mini boost. Like I said at the very beginning, it can be a mini boost. You can use these tools for that short boost kick before you make the phone call, before you walk into the meeting. That's great. But what I really want to encourage you to do is find the different micro habits and actions and activities that help you feel confident every day. Because the more you build and flex that muscle, the more it becomes a stronger and larger core of who you are. And that's how you show up in the world. You don't need the resolutions. You don't need the list. You just need to show up every day making choices to be you. So, if you need help finding clarity around the who you are and who you want to be, if you want help creating that list of what are these micro habits I could start putting into place that help me step into my confidence more, I invite you to the Dirty Girl Mini Dig, to a 15-minute coaching call. It's free. It is focused on how do we get you to the next action step to help you get closer to living your life, managing your career, getting that next raise, that next promotion, but doing it all your way. Doing it all based on your terms. So drop the word dig into the comments and I'll reach out to you for the Dirty Girl Mini Dig. So for those of you who are here live, thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate it. For those of you on the replay, so glad you're watching. Go ahead and drop in your comments because I do follow them and watch them later. Happy to answer questions. And again, drop in that word dig if you'd like to take advantage of the free 15-minute coaching call, and we will get you on the right track. So resolutions or not, you are showing up as your best, strongest, most successful self for 2023 just by being who you are. Awesome, ladies. Thank you for joining me tonight. Have a great night. As always, Tuesdays are my favorite. Good to see you guys.